Welcome to Book Reviews, where there is boundless offerings of organized knowledge by Estelle and Tammy Terrell.
Our purpose is to inspire individuals to read more books, expand their mind, and continue to learn. The book that we'll be reviewing today is Small Great Things by Jodi Picoult.
So this book is a novel. It's about 721 pages. There is like 4 main characters within this book, and the author does a great job in sharing everyone's story. So there's Ruth, Turk, Kennedy, and Britt. And just to give you a background on the story, Ruth is African American, and Turk and Britt are white supremacists.
Right.
And they don't want her taking care of their child that Britt just gave birth to. So she was taken off the report for that child, and the child passed away, and Kennedy became her lawyer.
Exactly. This particular book is about racism. It's about difference in opinions.
Yeah.
And it also is a great eye-opening story for everyone.
True.
The African American, also the white person supremacists, that you get to see where it came from, you know, and it takes you on an emotional journey.
It does.
Yeah, definitely. It also takes place in New Haven, and this particular book was recommended by one of our Instagram followers. Her name is Marla.booktalk. So definitely go ahead and follow her. And thank you so much, Marla.
It was a great review. So thank you for that recommendation. I really enjoyed it.
Definitely.
Because looking at the outside of the book, I didn't know what to expect. And it was great. It really was. It was a great eye-opener.
It definitely. Now, quick question for you. What was your favorite quote?
My favorite quote. There were so many quotes throughout the book, but one of my favorites is the first quote. Once you open up the book, when you start off, it says, "Justice will not be served until those who are unaffected are as outraged as those who are." Benjamin Franklin.
Right. Definitely. By reading that particular quote right there, it sums up the whole entire book.
True.
It takes you on this journey, whereas in sometimes what happens is that the victim, we may say, okay, they're just crying wolf. But then when you're the person on the outside looking in, you get outraged and you say, hey, no, this is not right. You have to stand up for others. Then other people start to see.
They really do. And I feel like that's what the author did. Because being a white woman, she gave a story about an African-American woman, and she portrayed it really well. She did a great job, and she showed things that we're dealing with,
right? And
it sheds the light, and also she gave us an opportunity to learn about Turk and why he was the way that he was, and there was so much hatred in him, and it allowed you to sympathize with him.
Right, because you see both sides of the spectrum, that even though he may have wanted, this is the type of person that he represented, but in hindsight, he wanted to do better.
He did.
He didn't want to always go left. It was like he wanted to do the right thing. He knew what the right thing was, but because it was embedded in him from a child, from a young age, the momentum was already there.
Yes.
So this is what he knew, and these are the people that he were around. You know, so definitely. Now, in terms of, I don't have a favorite quote, but there's a favorite part of the story. It was when Ruth invited Kennedy to go with her to TJ Maxx, and they had to buy her mom a gift, Ruth's mom's a gift. I think that's when she passed away, I think. And what happened is that Ruth walked around with Kennedy, and they continued to get bothered by a salesperson saying, do you need help? How can I help you? Is there something that you're looking for? And Kennedy got a little upset, like, okay, we'll let you know what we need.
Yeah.
When they were coming out of the store, security did not check Kennedy's bag, but they checked Ruth's bag. And Kennedy was like, how do you get used to that?
Yeah.
And Ruth said, you just do.
You do. It becomes the norm, and that's what's sad about it.
Right. Very sad about it. This particular book took me on an emotional roller coaster ride that I started to read it, then I'd put it down, then I'd get upset, then I picked it back up, then I'd say, oh my gosh. Then I connected with Ruth, and I connected with her sister. You know,
I did too. I connected with the both of them because I see that Ruth wants so much more. She wants to be not really allowed, but she wants to be in the room at all times because she deserves to be there.
Exactly.
And that's the battle between, am I trying too hard or am I not doing enough? And we're stuck between the two.
Exactly. And you know what I got from the dynamics between her and her sister is that Ruth, even though she was educated, she wanted everyone to just look at her as an equal. Then Adissa was like,
reality.
You need to take off those rose-colored glasses and see it for what it is.
Exactly.
But both of them were right and wrong in their own way.
Yeah.
You know, I definitely like that. That's why when the author, I was like, hold on. I kept looking back at the author. I was like, this is her. She gets me.
Exactly. And I think that was just her form of paying it forward.
Right.
Just to show people that look like her, hey, there's more to the story than just that. And also for us.
Right.
It opens an eye for us. Just looking at Turk and saying, oh, I get it.
Right.
This is why he is the way that he is.
And sometimes it's something that is so embedded in you. That's where when you become an adult, certain things you have to unlearn.
Do.
Because sometimes it's the ignorance of someone else teaching you something that they thought was true and right.
Yeah.
And you have to change.
I like that.
You have to decide.
True. You definitely have to unlearn a lot of the things that you were taught.
Exactly. True. Now, another question for you. If you could rate this book between, let's see, 1 to 10, scale of 1 to 10.
Okay.
What would you rate it?
I would rate it a 9. And it's not that I enjoyed the book. Every minute of the book, I enjoyed it. But I just felt like there could have been more commentary from the supporting characters because I really wanted to feel where or how Ruth's son felt.
Yes.
Because they're in a different generation. What Ruth had to go through when she was younger with racism is totally different from what her son. And here at a time where he feels like, oh, if I could hang out with their family, I can go on trips with their family, I can date their daughter. No. So I wish that they talked more about that. And also the family that she worked for. The mom. I felt like, could the mom have given a little story, a little background? What was it about Ruth's mom that she wanted her to be with her all the time?
Right. Like, was it for protection? Or for her to see how they really treat us?
Yeah.
You know, regardless of what. I want better for you, but you still are who you are.
Yeah.
Because remember, at one point, she asked her, what are you doing here? And we'll be here when you're ready.
Yeah.
When she said it at the time, I was like, what does she mean? But when her mom passed away and she saw everyone collectively that loved her mom, that came around, she was like, I get it.
Yeah. It's an eye-opener.
Right.
It's an eye-opener. And
this book is...
Yeah, she did an amazing job.
Definitely.
Did an amazing job.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Now,
what about you? If you're rating 1 to 10, what would be your rate?
I would say a 10.
10?
Because I became a part of the book.
Yes.
I became so a part of this book that I was just upset at times, sad sometimes, would go to the store and watch people. Don't ask me anything. I don't need help. You know, I have this attitude, and then at other times I just look at people and how they would react to people around. It makes you be more observant of your surroundings and different things, and you kind of look back and you be like, I'm not going to judge you so harshly about what you know and what you do not know, because I don't know where it's coming from.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I'd definitely say a 10.
10?
Mm-hmm. Right. Now, in terms of everything, would you recommend anyone to read this, or a particular group of people that they can read it? What do you think?
I recommend everyone read this book.
Right.
Black, white, Spanish, yellow, brown, green, everyone can learn something from it, because there's so many things. We talk about, oh, I'm not racist. Even being African American, I'm not racist, but we could be biased.
Right.
And vice versa.
Exactly.
So it does shed a light, and I feel that everyone could take something from it and like change for the better.
That is true. It shows you so many aspects of life that you're closed off to, and it's like, wow.
Yeah.
I like it.
Me too.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So we'd like to go ahead and wrap it up and say that this was an awesome book,
Yes,
a wonderful read.
It was. Definitely.
And just be prepared for our next review.
Yes.